I recently had the honor of being a referee for Bingo Brawlers Season 5, which just concluded, and just received a Streamer Award nomination for Best Streamed Event. This season was spectacular. The combined base game and DLC format introduced a ton of creative new objectives for players to do, and I wanted to make a quick video talking about my 5 favorite squares from this event. First, a few honorable mentions. The combined larval tier square was really fun, particularly for the base game. In the DLC it's a bit less interesting, just running around at night, but for the base game there are many niche larval tiers to gather, and it's a great test of game knowledge and uncommon fights like lobsters. The 3 types of Crucible Knight combined square is also really excellent and nearly made my top 5. Routing for the spear-wielding knight in the base game is a bit tricky, as they're either deep underground, in Lane Dell, or in the really nasty Crucible duo fight. Meanwhile, Devonia in the DLC is a monster in her own right and should totally be a boss if we're being real. Next is the +0 weapon boss kill for the DLC. This skips out on top 5 because it's largely about who gets lucky and finds a weapon suitable for this square first, but it does reward super niche weapon moveset knowledge to make more weapons viable to kill Black Knight Idrid, who is a menace if you aren't able to find a way to micro-stagger him consistently for the super long fight. Final honorable mention is Malenia. Haligtree Roots is unlocked from basically the start of the game, and we've seen some crazy early Malenia attempts. It's a huge risk-reward because she's obviously incredibly dangerous and potentially very slow at low damage. But she gives a ton of runes and another great rune for capital access. Watching a Malenia fight in Bingo is always a treat. Now for the real top 5. My number 5 is our variant DLC square, Kill X Dancing Lions, particularly the second variant. The second Dancing Lion is the dreaded Deathblight Lion, and it's been amazing to have that boss show up on camera. Deathblight can always kill you, regardless of Skidoo, so having a boss that is dangerous all the way through the game in the DLC is extremely satisfying to watch. The Dancing Lion fight in general is also quite tricky, and this lion is simply scaled higher than the Remembrance, making Deathblight not the only concern. Number 4 are the base game stat dump squares. These squares are unassuming, but they're powerful when used correctly. The early money from the Haligtree turns these squares into rush squares, but it's a big decision to both sacrifice that money and your level up costs for the rest of the game to get these squares.
Let's go.
If you find the right weapon or the kill a boss with sorceries or incances on the board, there can even be some sneaky synergy in the right moment. These squares may not be exciting to watch, but they're very fun to play with. Number 3 is the combined square 4 of each pot. Combined squares are the heart and soul of Season 5. 4 of each pot is mostly rushable, but it involves some routing decisions in both base game and DLC that require a good game plan and communication with your teammate. Building that game plan mid-match is what separates good teams from great teams, and 4 of each pot is an excellent square to give those teams a strategic edge. Number 2 is our combined 3 Hitless Remembrance boss square. Going for Hitless in a high-pressure situation is always intense for both players and the audience. The reason 3 works so well here is that it gives the player who's having a better game or who has better map access the ability to help out their teammate by taking on an additional burden, allowing that player to catch up somewhere else. If the enemy team had a similar approach and gets sniped, the inherent symmetry in that dynamic can either equalize a game or drive a nail in the coffin. And finally, number 1, I'm giving to the Dragon types combined square. Dragons are chaotic bosses in Elden Ring, so there's always an element of randomness when it comes to this square.
You actually cannot make it up.
From a game balance perspective, some chaos is always going to be a good thing, because if there's no chaos, the better team always wins and there's no hope for the underdog. But this square has it all. The fights are of course dramatic as hell. Strategically, it allows teams to allocate more dragons to the player having the better game, since there's a lot of overlap in what each player can have access to in the base game or the DLC. And the power of ancient dragons in this format even gave rise to the infamous Lanciac skip, one of the most difficult skips in Elden Ring Bingo. Also, in the rare case that Senesax was chosen for the Ancient Dragon, the DLC player had their work cut out for them. Without guaranteed access to the Dragon Hunter's Great Katana, the Senesax fight is one of the most technically challenging fights in all of Elden Ring, and players got to really showcase their skill by killing this beast with a hodgepodge of random weapons. And that is my top 5 squares for Bingo Brawlers Season 5. I'm curious to know what your favorites were in the comments. Big shoutouts to Captain Domo, creator of Bingo Brawlers, and all the players this season, particularly those that included me in their practice games, several of which are on this channel. Until next season, tune into my channel to see what's going on behind the scenes in the world of Bingo, and I'll catch you in the next video.